Why do butchers always hide the dodgy stuff under the good stuff? Hey, that's a bit baity. But what we're doing is we're not actually hiding shit. So if it's a good shop, it's standards and it's like the artsy fartsy part of the trade. You want everything to be dressed up and looking pretty. It's the old school way things were taught. So you want, your best foot forward sort of thing. So we're cutting the chops. We're doing them nice and thick, not too thin, not too thick, about thumb thickness. You don't want them too thick because they're a four-quarter. They'll get a bit tough. You don't want them too thin because it's like, it's gimmickly, like your chops are going to be cheap, but they're cheap because they're really skinny, so they're sort of shit. So you can see as we're going down here, like there's a slope to it. That slope is the natural fall. That's how it's going to present. You know what I mean? Like one side's going to be bigger than the other side. So that's how it's going to present. So we'll go to the next one. You can see the other bit, the fat. So when we're going with the fat, we don't want to go all the way with these things. When we get all the way down to like the neck area, you got some hard lumps of fat. You got like, a lot of sinew, a lot of bone. And so what you're doing when you're pulling them apart, you see I'm pulling them apart. When I'm pulling them apart, when I cut it, I'm not only making sure that everything's cut and everything's clean and good, like I'm checking how the next chop looks and if that chop is a chop or if it's not a chop. So you can see where my left hand is on the right side of the screen. There's a big block of fat there and bone. But somewhere in between this next bone and that big lump of fat is the last place we're cutting. Like we don't want to cut all the way because then you're going to get shit. So you don't want shit. So we're checking it. And these are called standards and good practice. You know what I mean? So like that to me is the last chop. That still is, 80% meat. So that's good for a lamb forequarter, I think. So that's where I stop. That's drawing the line. So that's what it is. That's the difference between a good butcher and a bad butcher, is just their morals and their practices and their standards. And, when you get a bit bigger, the systems they put in place so that all their workers can do the same thing, consistency. That's the next thing. So you can see here, you can see the good two and you can see the bad two. You can see that one on the right is better than that one on the middle right because it's not separated as much. It's still a good chop. It's still lean, needs a bit of further trimming, but it's not bad, you know what I mean? But you know which one's going to go on top. So we'll take that last rib and that bit of fat just to clean them up a bit. Same again. Last rib, bit of fat, cleans them up. You know which one's going to go on which there. Bonk, bonk. Same again on this side. Last rib, bit of fat. And then we're going to get our better chop. I'm going to stick that on because it looks better and dresses better on the plate. And people have their eyes. You know what I mean? You're not going to put all your shit on chop. You're not going to throw it all in hickledy-pickledy and hope for the best. It's not how it's going to work. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get more sales and people are going to have a better buying experience if it all looks great. So if we lay these out, you can see clearly which ones have a little bit more fat, which ones don't. Flowing it this way, you can see the flow. So you can see how the shoulders tapered down. One side has more meat while one side has more fat. Like, it's just the way the shoulders worked. It's circular, you know what I mean? So you sort of got to run with that. You can see that first chop is lean. That next chop has a little bit of fat in the center. That next chop is lean. That other one has a little bit of bone in the center. So this, you can see these are thicker because they were part of the middle. And you can see these are a bit skinnier because they were like closer to the cutlet. So it was leading to a cutlet muscle rather than a forequarter muscle. So they're going to go on top of them. And the other good one's going to go on top of them. Yeah, it's just natural, you know what I mean? We're trying to make things pretty and, I don't know, beautiful to sell. And it makes you feel good. When you dress a nice plate, it makes you feel good. Anyway, that's part of the trade. And I hope that clears that up. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I will catch